Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Welcome to this session. It's called Selling Through Presentation. This particular contest I will share with you, it's very limited in scope to where you want to make money out of when you want to present. So this is not a fulfillment. What I am doing right now, it's 100% fulfillment. You will never get any sales information. I will not give you an offer. There is nothing. So this course is fulfillment. It's not the sequence I will explain. So if we look at our business, and I'm sharing this information with you, it will have some few mathematical models. It will describe why this individual talk about revenge exactly. I will share with you a few psychologist model. So if we understand our business, I believe all of you are in the coaching consultation business, more or less, or in a business where if I want to sell my biggest product here, I have to lead here with, I call it seminar, which is 20 to 90 minutes, where I will invite people to come to my next event. That's right. Mm-hmm. So if you are a holistic practitioner, if you do massage, acupuncture, psyche, any energy work, majority of the time we will have an opportunity to stand in front of 2 or more people and just explain what you do, and you like to invite them to the next offer. Some of us as coaches, we will integrate here a workshop. So this will be a 3-day workshop where you come to your own large program. We call this line the line of interaction. Every single activity you do toward your business, it must have a spot on this line. This is not a timeline, this is just a time of interaction. When I will interact with my audience to confirm and convert them into paid clients or customers. I will use some different terminologies than the standard marketing people because I'm not standard marketing guy. I will use different terminologies than business people because I'm not standard business guy as well. I focus only on this kind of business where you need to have a seminar, webinar, leading to a 3 days workshop, leading to a full program online or in person. You may upsell by one-on-one or upsell by other products. And if you follow this model and you find out that you need to have more than one funnel or one line, you are in the wrong business. Because we don't have in our 24 hours capacity. I call it capacity, which means time, energy, money, interest, self-esteem to focus on more than one line. I get so many will come to me and say, you know what, let me just have another product here. I said, that's good, just focus on one for 1 year. And then you can move to something else. And people will come to say, yeah, we have been there for 1.5 years, for 2 years. I said, so when are we going to the next one? I said, no, we don't want it because now this can grow. When we look at this line, business cards supposed to be here. Websites supposed to be here. Any activity, any handout material, you do it for your business, it must have a spot on this line. And I share this line with my customers over 3 days of 6 hours workshops. So this how you can do things in a different way. Here I will focus only on this seminar, which could be 20 to 90 minutes, where I want to position an irresistible offer where people will come and buy the 3 days workshop or the highest product. The common question here is, should I have, so all of you agree on this model? Each one of you, in a way or another, they have this kind of interaction. Mm-hmm. That's right. The question now is, if this is my annual program, which I call it from 10 to 50K, There is another model if I sell 150K investment package. Okay, it's a different program. I did 4 of these with customers who are selling investment program. But if your program from 10 to 50K, the logical question now is, will I be able to come from a seminar to this program? So the question will come back to you is, how much is your seminar webinar? How much usually you charge for 20 to 90 minute seminar webinar? If I phrase the question right, how much do you pay the organizer to host you in a seminar webinar of 20 to 90 minutes? Because this introductory, they call it introductory offer, they call it signature presentations, they call it whatever they call it. In the right settings, I pay to be on these stages. Because the alternative is people will share the commission with me here. So if you are in your Holistic Earth, if you are in CIBN, if you are in Xmers, if you are in any of this organization, and they invite you for 20 minutes, you have to be a membership paying individual, or sometimes you pay an extra fees, like Body, Soul, and Spirit, you pay another $700 to be on the stage for 20 minutes. Okay? So if you charge here between $0 to $20 for people to come in, you cannot jump from $20 to $10,000. It has to have some common sense. Okay? Any questions so far? I will be compressing 3 days of workshop knowledge with the same workbook which I handed in a few minutes in 6 hours. So you have to we have to figure out how we can do this, okay? The second model I can share with you, which will be, I believe, in part of the material, is people who comes to here, we don't call them customers. We call them clients. So these people who come here, what's the definition between a client, or what's the difference between a client and a customer?
A client is a potential customer? Is that?
Rick is insider, okay? Because Rick was
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay, go Rick.
I would say a client is basically a repeating customer, somebody's ongoing, somebody's not just a one-off.
Okay, a client is a customer who doesn't pay me money. It's somebody who will take all the value from me, which work with the reciprocity. So all of you here are, except of 2 in the room, who have been previous customers, are my clients. Because I'll give you all the value and you are not paying me money. You are not getting invoice. That's right. A customer is somebody who will pay money. So in coaching and training or service, usually you give a free session or you give strategy 1 hour. This is, in my model, we call it client. Because they need a different set of marketing material. They need a different set of tools, different than a customer. The customer will need a quotation and invoice. The client doesn't need invoice.
So could I call that a prospect? Would that be?
A prospects will come before the client.
Okay.
Right, so are you saying your client doesn't pay you any money?
My clients will not pay us money. They may pay us $20, which is not significant, but our clients will not pay us money.
Okay, so we.
In this model. So when you call somebody and say, I want to enroll you to a discovery session or qualification session, I want to invite you to a free dinner, a free lunch. This is our clients. Okay? Before the client, you have dialogue, you have prospects.
Yeah, you either contact them personally by phone or on email or something.
You have a communication, you have a dialogue. Before that, they call them lead, or we call them lead.
Oh, yeah.
Lead is someone who will give you their business card or their contact information, and there is an offline lead and online lead, and there is a reason for me to have more than 400 hours of video a year production, because we talk about this stuff a lot. Before lead, I call them target audience, I call them audience, and then I call them general. And your role is to sort through the journey where people will transfer between every stage. And after they are customer, they can come as return customers or upselling. They can come as referral customers, they refer somebody else. And the last stage is the retired customers, who are customers no longer are customers, they done. So for good example, how many in CIBN and they finish like 1 or 2 years or 3 years and they don't come often? Do you keep their email list and communication? Most people say no. I tell you no. These people, they need different set of material, different set of communication. So your role with your organization is to have the 9 transition among the 10 stage. And this is my own model. And if you see this model before anywhere, let me know. I would love to see that, because this model will fit an information product or skill set sales. 80% of your business shall be structured in this way. Only got people who can buy right away. They may jump from audience or lead to buy in here. That's right. How often did you see somebody say, "Oh, hi, I love you. I love your program. Can I basically sign up right now?"
Maybe 1%.
There are 7% of our population
Once in a while.
are gut driven. And guts are very key for my business, because I don't need to have sales process. I don't need to follow up. They either buy or don't buy. Very straightforward. I don't need to convince them. So this is the standard model. You can restructure it. You can, people sometimes they say suspect and prospects. So if you have somebody suspect and prospect is great, but just show me what you mean suspect with prospect. This model will work with the online, because just quickly, which is outside the context of this course, if I want to look at my, okay, where in these stages I will talk about pricing? In this transition, that's right?
Right up there, yeah.
Maybe in this transition. And for sure when they come after, that's right?
Yeah.
But if I am general like somebody here, we are in Bay Street, and people will come walk on Bay Street. They are all business people. They are my general business people. Somebody will stand and look at the sign, and somebody will get close to write down the numbers. He will be target audience, and then he will call me, or he will send me an email or sign up to my lead page, that's right? And then you will call him, or we'll have conversation of joining via email, via phone call, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And then I will invite him for a free, or we call it in Canada, we call it gift, because Canadians don't like free stuff. In the US, you call it free. And then they come for a taste of your service. So if you do like biofield, in holistic on energy, they do like biofield analysis. They put him in computers, they show him the chakras alignment and stuff like that. This is the whole service. And then they give them an invitation for a psyche, or for a integrated chakra therapy, or for holistic, or for nutrition. And then they can upsell them for one-on-one. And then they can ask them for referral. And then they say, "Thank you, have been treated after 6 or 10 sessions. Okay, so now you are away, so we can invite you for our Christmas party every year." This is a journey, or this is an example of a journey of somebody. Do you agree on this journey?
Yeah, it's suitable. It's pretty close.
Does everybody here have similar journey?
Yes.
Now, so if I go to your marketing brochure, and I don't want to pick up on any of you guys, and you give me your marketing brochure and you have a price on it, what do you mean? It's too early. If I go to your website and I say, "Buy now," it's what? It's too early.
Yeah.
So no matter what people are trying to convince you to do a website or to do a marketing material to drive more money, and they say, no, we know the business, you put here, you put the price here. Does not work with this model. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I don't care. You can make a decision for yourself. But in information products, the way you pull the customers in, you don't pull them in by the price right here. Make sense?
Yes.
Any comment? It's a two-way communication. I'm sharing. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, usually you don't want to, I don't talk price unless they specifically ask a question. Some, first thing they want to know, and it's very few I find, but every once in a while you'll have somebody, give me the cost right now.
I will explain to you why people will need this cost. How? What actually we know? What is the percentage of people who need the cost right now?
Very few, very low.
No, it's I will share with you a specific percentage on the American population or North USA, North America population. Any question on this model?
I had one question. You have, I got this one. What was that one? This one is
Referral.
What's this one then?
Return customer mean upselling.
Oh, return customer referral.
So these are return customer.
Okay. I had
For
that.
your model and okay, I will explain to you where I applied this before. In your model,
Yeah.
you may want a model every week as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't sell it as a package,
Right.
or every month or every year as a customer. So if you do it every week, it means you need to resell them every week.
Mm-hmm.
If you say the package for me is 1 year or 3 months or quarter,
Yeah.
it means you come here and you will be able to resell them or upsell them.
See our package, our Mixer Plus, you could relate that to it.
Yeah, I can see it in a couple of the different
Yeah.
packages. Actually, and it go right. In
Yeah.
some cases, it goes right from the customer directly to the referral. It's
Yeah.
they're already in.
And as I said, we don't have enough time, so I will rush quickly through
Okay.
specific parts. I can direct you to hours of models and how this map. This will work with about 87. You will have access to all the images and the video recording because I'm video recording the whole session.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm the only guy who will work in a place who puts the computer in, and will not need a presentation. So
Okay.
if you if you don't want your voice to be recorded, don't talk. Because I also produce a system where I don't spend too much time in editing because
Yeah.
it's just this only for the group, and I will provide you with a URL. So if you register on it, you can go and watch all the videos, get the handout, and any supplement material. So why do I explain this here? Because what will make people here to buy?
Relationship information.
A need, they have an urgent need.
Okay, what will make them to buy? It's not a relationship
It's
information.
the way you present it maybe.
No,
that-
no. These people need to understand what kind of pain you solve.
Right. We fix their pain.
Oh,
then
what
we want
kind
it.
of pain we can solve, we can fix? Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Make sense?
yeah.
As I say, this is our sharing. This is my journey since 1992 in doing businesses. Okay, so this is, and as I said, this is my own model. I'm not saying this to be proud of it. I'm saying it. These models are coming in my future books.
Mhm.
Please, guys, if you find something similar, let me know because I may oversee something else. Okay. So what are the type of pains we are solving to people? So what will make an audience to come to be a target audience, or what will make an audience here? You may decide this is too much for me. You know what? I will take all of this as one case. It's okay. It's up to you. No problem. If you notice here, business cards are above audience to target audience. Website are above target audience to leads. It can be in a different phases. In summary, if you go to the website course we have, it will talk about having 4 different types for your website. Because I deliver to my customers through a part of my website, different than the website I will attract people in, different than the blog, different than some. So there is a logic which will tell you if you want to design your website is awesome. Who are the target? Maybe this group here. So let's look at the requirement here. This group will come in a second button or somewhere else. We design. So when we design websites, we have 200 questions because you should design at least 4 versions of your website. If you want to deliver and have the content and have the subscription, it's another set of website. Make sense? So what kind of pain do you solve for your customers?
We give them opportunity to network, to do business.
Bottom line revenue.
Financial. Pain.
It's it's bottom line revenue is what we solve
Yeah.
for
Okay,
us.
hold on. Give me time. Nice. So you give them a bottom line revenue. You drive value.
Right.
What you said, you give them.
Well, I guess.
You are process. You talk about process. And she said people will buy on the relationship. What is the fourth pain people are buying for?
Time.
Yes.
Time.
These are the four, I call it PEAT, behavioral engagement emotion triggers. These are the four triggers where every and anybody will buy for. And if you have fifth trigger, let me know. Process engineers and VB engineering will buy on process and the amount of information and the time to deliver. Because always they understand the schedule. CEOs of a company would like to see the budget, the money, and will come on time. What make a nurse, 40 years old nurse, 40 years of experience nurse, she never been a nurse manager. She has much higher relationship values than process and information. One of the common issues we have is we will reflect our quality. We will reflect our triggers in our dialogue. So because you've been doing lots of administration, assistant, bookkeeping, any processing, if I let you talk and then I say this is a set of words which is underlined by blue, majority of your talk will be blue. She is more on the value. If any lady will come with the Gucci, with Michael Kors, with the Burberry, she is here. And we are dominant in two neighbor quadrants. She cannot be here and here. As a matter of fact, from the science, we understand that these people here are deflecting and these people here are deflecting. They don't get along. So if you stand in front of somebody who has all the Chanel, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
A guy or a lady, doesn't matter.
That's right.
Okay? If people are here and you start to talk about the process and how this will work for them, you will basically shut them down. They will not be interested. In 3 seconds, we have a tools in 3 seconds that you can walk into the room. In 3 seconds, you can tell exactly who are people in the room. 40% of us are in relationship and community. Around 22% of us is process information. Unfortunately, we are in Calgary. So in Calgary, majority of them are what?
Engineers.
If you are in the farming area,
Yeah.
in the farming they know process because they know sequence of operation, but they have no clue about the money because they can spend their time
Yes.
making more money, you know. But they have more notion of relation. The difference between this model and the DISC and all of these other models, CVI, Colors, Myers-Briggs, 6 or 7 different models, that this model will work on the mood. So if you are overwhelmed, you will switch.
We'll work on the mood.
Yes, there is a mood factor for this model. Okay, so there is a negative mood and there is a positive mood. And the rec minus VE means negative, plus VE means positive, okay? Because you asked me this question a couple of times. And here is the neutral mode. So, when last time did you have a party and you cooked all the food at home and you were just so stressed because someone is late and the food will be warm? And you find this couple are coming and just very cool, very calm. Oh, you know what? The kid in the back seat was just crying and you had to pull out for half an hour to make them comfort. Who cares? How many kids is not crying all the time in the car?
Yeah.
So how you will take these words? You will be almost flaming us, right? Because what these people are, they play more with their relationship.
Yeah.
You are stressed from all the other visitors because you have relationship, but you care that people will not have the cold food. So you are triggered by the time. When people getting through separation and divorce, they go more towards this.
Yeah.
When people are in honeymoon, they go more towards this. When you are tired at 11 o'clock coming home and then you find your son or your daughter or your spouse saying, oh, where is whatever? Say, oh, yo, go found it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because you are overwhelmed, you are tired, you just need to go to bed quickly. You care, you love them. If you understand this model in a deeper level, you will be able to transform your language to accommodate every single one. It's not desk, it's nothing. I can pick up from your words, guys, and I can go reflect on it. And there is nothing wrong with starting in a quadrant and maneuver cross off the quadrants. Because for your messages, you must have a sentence or a paragraph orange, a sentence or a paragraph green, a sentence or a paragraph blue, and a sentence or a paragraph red. And what's the order you will use? To give you an example, Win Your Brand is a step-by-step program will make you'll be able to triple your income in 90 days or less. Step-by-step program, and it will amplify your message to engage more audience. So amplify your message to engage more audience. It's a step-by-step program, 90 days or less, and triple your income, okay? So everything we'll talk about it later on how we structure our hooks and our messages. It must match this.
So how does the colors, how does the color correspond with the sentence you just gave it? I'm not following how transforming your income in 90 days is orange.
Income, it's $1.
Oh, I see, because you made those.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I wasn't
Relationship.
correlating the
So
colors,
if you want to
so
grab any marketing material and you want to know the trait
the dollar is orange.
or the characteristics of the reader who will conquer with this market material, who will relate to it, you basically pick up 4 colors. Usually if this is in our office, we have bins of 4 colors, and just underline or circle every single sentence, every single word. Words like effective will cover maybe this 2 or 3. Cost effective will be more here. Efficient will be maybe here. So there are words which can go to more than one quadrant, but this is part of the game. So when you sit in front of somebody and say, oh, it's too much detail for me, I hate it. This guy, when he talk, and I don't get any. Because basically, he's talking different language than you. Okay? That's why when we do this presentation, when we do selling, we must not be tired. We must not be drunk. We must not be having. We must be.
Damn, route.
Anyway,
We got 2 out of 2 wrong there.
do you see value of this model?
Being recorded, Kerry.
Go ahead, sir.
What were the other percentages?
Oh yeah, you have 40, 22. What was time and money?
Time is about 28, and the balance is for the time. And this will change per nation. This will change per community. This will change per so many things you can. So we know for sure that there are this percentage, which is around 90% of us will have relationship as 1 or 2 as the lead trigger or the lag in the dominant triggers. So in this way, you have to understand that fashion, cosmetic, weight loss are relationship. Because the relationship is not a relation between me and you. It's a relation first with my body. It's a relation with my tribe. It's Greenpeace, without being in politics, are relation dominant. Okay? So which language you should, if you have a random community, you should have 4 different dialogues. Now, if you know your dominant, don't speak your language. It will come naturally. Okay? Any more questions here? Make sense? So I repeat, any desk or bank code or any of this selling, I don't care about your why. I don't care about you. I care about the other person. So I don't care, sorry, about me. I have enough whys. I discovered so many whys of whys. I discovered so many of my personalities, the 9 personalities, the 16. Okay, I don't care. What I care about is how to establish a bridge with anybody and everybody I meet within the 80% range without too much effort. I will not ask you, hi, can you please go and show me your Myers-Briggs test results so I can talk to you? How many of you will do that? So I'm standing on my feet as somebody has a PhD in computer engineering, understanding behavior. I just seen these models in different contexts. I said, like, this can work very effectively with people marketing from the stage. So the second value you have to understand, or the second way, so this is how we trigger people. So this is a trigger. So if I want to trigger you to buy from me or to talk to me, I have to tell you more information about the value of my products towards the relationship you can establish with your customers, the relationship you establish, you save your own time, you go spend more time with your family, you grow your business, but if I tell you make more money, how many heard from their customer, we don't care about more money? How many heard this statement?
It has happened, yeah.
Okay. What do you mean you don't care about money? Can you tell me what is the number one problem in all of our business?
It's usually cash flow.
Is money in it, right?
Yes, money.
So, growing, engaging customer base, charging premium, reduce the time to serve, have a clear strategy to your customers to grow. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, this is the triggers, this is the switches. The switches will be connected to what? To wires. That's right? I can stop the recording. You can talk. It's not.
Yeah, it's all good.
If I want to understand the triggers or how people will receive my information, people are logic dominant. People are feeling dominant, or brain dominant, or heart dominant. People are feet or steps dominant. And the number one, which I would love to sell to, are the guts feeling. These are the people who will come, they love you, and they say, they will call you next day to buy from you. It happened to me. I had a couple of people came to my office. They look at me in our training center, say, we want to join your program. I said, who are you? I didn't know you. No, a friend of us said this, and they want to join. Here is a check. I said, thank you.
That's a good one.
You never ask these guys why they join, because they don't know. How many of you ask their customers why they join? And how many have been told by business coaches or trainer or whatever, advisor or whatever on the internet, go to your customer and ask them why they will join your program. I don't care why they joined. And nobody will tell you why they joined. They will tell you something else, which I will share with you after the break.
The reason it sounds good.
No, it's not the reasons. I will share with you what exactly you can get from them. But can you go to your customer and say, why do you want to join? Why do you want to join CIBN?
I've never asked that question.
You must not.
No.
Because if you have gut people, guts will be offended.
Yeah.
Now, when I say here, you have brain, heart, steps. People need to understand logic, or they need to feel good about the event or the program. That's why when you would like to have a presentation in front of heart dominant, you must have a very decent presentation. You must be consistent, which is another thing I will talk about in a minute. They must feel good. When I feel a heart dominant in the room, they shouldn't see this cramping of chairs because it bothers them. And the subconscious mind, they made a decision they don't want to be part of this not feeling good environment. They need to come in, they need to have an aroma, like a coffee aroma. They need to see presentation which is not small fonts. It's presentation that people need to see it in the right size because they need to feel good about the program. Okay?
Yeah.
Steps, they need to understand what step by step you do. And the problem will happen here, particularly when we sell this level of programs where it includes two spouses or two partners or two partners in business. There is a significant issues you have to understand. I am more logic. It doesn't mean my partner is dumb. Okay? I am more logic means I advance more the logic than the feeling. And if my partner is advancing more the heart than the logic, and both of us usually will be either guts or feet. It's very rare to find somebody brain and heart. Very rare. So I will go home and say, honey, I found this program is awesome. I attended the presentation. It does make perfect sense for us to invest in it. She'll tell you, you know what? I don't feel good about it. No, believe me, it makes sense. Look at the numbers. It doesn't feel right. Did you have these dialogues?
I've seen this happen. Hi.
If you have this dialogue happening among people, you have to break it. They are speaking the right language and the right vocabulary for each one of them. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
So the problem when you talk brain, I don't want to say brain is higher levels than heart. What I want to say is these are two different wavelengths. These are two different levels.
Right.
If you are selling a timeshare, you bring them together, and we train the salespeople how to be able to maneuver between the two. By the way, this is also the reason for people to get divorced from between 2 to 8 years, because their values are not aligned. There is another harder model we can talk about deeper, but I don't want to touch it. What I want to make sure here is, in every presentation steps I will share with you, you need to remember there are four segments you have to address. And believe me, if everybody is engineer, focus on the two. If everybody on the room is a CEO, focus on the two. A little of this. But if you bring the biggest mistake, they bring the CEO and the VP engineer, and they come to me and say, yeah, we had the best meeting out of the company. They brought in 12 upper management, and guess what? 3 administration too. I said, yeah, that's exactly why you could not sell. Full stop. Because these people will ask different questions,
Yeah.
and these guys are not conquered with the questions, so they will feel that you are fooling. That's right? Make sense?
You're wasting time, is what they're thinking.
So if you are in this business and you want to get the partner, in the sequence I will share with you, when you come on over and people say, oh, you know what, yeah, we would like to talk to our partners, it's awesome. Everybody needs to have a partner support. Would you allow me to join on a conference call? Or you would like to sign right now and invite your partner to come to have a discussion? And when you join right now, anyway, we have 10 days cancellation policy, zero question asked, no question asked. So when people come and say, oh, we will not charge right now, yeah, you don't, you can't, because there's some level of objections when people come and buy. You have to focus on this. Okay? Make sense? The other thing also you have to understand, which is the NLP, because people will come say, oh, you do these things, there is 2 more models, so what is NLP? So in NLP, we understand that people are kinesthetic, people are audible, people are visual, and people like me are digital visual. Digital visual, they are bored if they see the whole movie. Imagine you go to a theater. If you go to any movie, all the successful movies will never start at a loud voice. It will start slowly. All the successful songs will start din 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 din. That's right. It's only Metallica which we don't listen to. They start at a high, because it works here. Visual people, they need the high energy. They need the loud voice. If you start loud at the very beginning, these people will be shut down. So people need to have slow, and then you will get the audible. Audible are very dangerous, because a dangerous of an audible, if I have a screen like this on a PowerPoint slide, I have to talk to the screen. I have to explain. It's coming from left to right. An audible will be sitting here, will give you their ear. So you'll be sitting like usually we have a heart-to-heart connections, but how often you see somebody sitting in front of you like really here, and then they will just get aside and give you their ear. These are audible people. They are not ignoring you. And all what we do, oh, look here. Don't say look. Are you listening? Do you hear me? Don't say look.
Yeah.
Don't say, can you see these guys? You say, do you agree?
Yeah.
Can you relate?
Yeah,
Do you like
I'm
it?
thinking when people give you your ear, if you're visual, the thing you try to do is you try to get them to look when they think you're rude, and you think they're rude because they're not looking.
Yeah. Because often I will listen to somebody and actually close my eyes.
Because you are more visible. You have a component of visual.
Yeah.
Or sorry, of audible.
Yeah.
None of us is 100%. None of us is 100%.
So what was the Canadian?
Kinesthetic.
Kinetic.
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic is the people who they don't move.
And what's the P?
Digital visual.
Oh, that's the visual.
These are the people who have higher IQs than everybody else in the room. Because these are people who don't need
Yeah.
a full story.
No.
They don't need to see the whole show.
No.
So somebody will come to me and say, yeah, I was talking, you're not focusing, you're working on your computer.
Yeah.
I said, no. Here, exactly what did you say? This is the drawings you have on the screen.
Yeah.
80% of your time you're looking to your screen. I said, yeah. I don't need to look at the old details.
So are they-
Skipping to the end.
Are they the people that just read the abstracts?
Yeah, these are people who will read, not the abstract, but they will read like cross of the lines. They cannot read a full paragraph. They will read just diagonal.
See, I tend to do that sometimes where my husband wants to read the whole thing.
It has a combination of this with this model. So historically, they told us this called NLP. NLP in IBM contest mean natural language processing, but this NLP means neuro-linguistic programming. Okay? So there is two NLP coming now. The artificial intelligence gives us natural language processing, but this is not natural language processing. This is neural linguistic programming. As a presenter, you don't need to observe more of these. This is your way to get people in. If you notice the way I present, I speak a little bit faster, then I come back, I stress on specific words, then sometimes I come slow, sometimes I be dynamic, sometimes I don't use my hand, because I like to entertain every single guy. Because if I don't entertain you, I don't deserve your relationship, because guess you were stuck with me here for 1 year and you have to suffer. I say, see, I hear. So if anyone here has a problem with a partner or a spouse or whoever, and they want to pick it up, if you are an audible, go to the other guy and say, I see your point. If you are visual, go to the other guy and say, I hear you.
Yeah.
Because audible would like to be heard. And these are not us, because we are trained. I object of getting any of these tests because I can play with any of these rules. And that's why every week or every 2 weeks, I will shut down, I sit in my home, I'm not doing business. Because I have to live my own life. Okay? If you believe you have a value program that will change people's life, please consider that you have to take the extra step to accommodate the way to communicate your message to other people. Because people will come to me and say, yeah, you know what? We don't want to be like lizard, like coloring changing like lizards. We are not a lizard, and I'm not thinking about lizard. If you believe you have a system which will change people's life, will help them making money, help their relationship, help whatever it is, take the extra step and be better communicate your messages using this model. Along this model, you must understand that if people will comply with your messages, we call it mindless compliance. So these 7 pillars, which I'll explain right now, and if you look at mindless compliance on Google, you'll come to my presentation. Mindless compliance does not mean obedience. Mindless compliance is the way people will follow your wishes, will follow your invitation, and take steps forward. To give you a good example of mindless compliance, imagine back in 1937, they found out these Xerox machines, and there is a line like of 100 people in front of the Xerox machine to make copies. And you have only 5 copies to make. So if you go to the front of the line and say, oh, by the way, yeah, this is a study, but you can apply it to Costco. Imagine you are in Costco, and all what you got is a cake for the birthday, and all of these people waiting for you at the house, and you're stuck in Costco, and you understand how the line in Costco are very short. That's right. So now you want to go at the front and say, would you allow me to go to pay for only one item? They found out if you ask this question, 60% of the people will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come and say, will you allow me to pay for one item because I'm in a hurry? 94% will say yes.
Oh.
If you come and say, you allow me to buy for one item because I wanna buy one item and leave, 93% will say yes. Because the word because has the most mindless compliance effect.
Really?
The study was made on the Xerox machine, but the problem with this word as well, if I have 10 items, will it work? So it has its own limitation. Okay? So mindless compliance, number 1 in the mindless compliance shall be consistent. So if you are consistent, 60% of the people will buy from you. It will increase because you are consistent. So what does it mean consistent? You see so many speakers, so many presenters will go in the same set of clothes. So many coaches, especially public speakers, will have a signature. One way to be consistent, how many of you here use Gmail for business? How many seen people using Gmail for business?
Mm-hmm.
Is it normal to use Gmail for business? If it costs you $76 US for 1 year URL subscription with unlimited hosting, with unlimited emails, with a company in Vancouver, doesn't take any level network marketing or any referral, you go to it, you just $6,700 Canadian. Why do you assume I will pay you $100 an hour or $50 an hour if you cannot afford $100? So when you look at consistent, you define your own consistency. And whenever you define your own consistency, you have to go it. So one common thing you have been seeing it, which one issue was Dee, and the way that's why I'm not working with her anymore, is they decided to change the logo. So suddenly they have 3 logos for the same organization. One level of consistent is to show on time. So when I discovered this, I made a point that I will come between 15 to 30 minutes before any meetings. And I don't care about backing meetings back to back. And she suffered from me one time because I showed up like 45 minutes. I made a point. I just have to be consistent. I'm here for business. I should come early. I shouldn't come rushing. I should be smiling. I should be consistent. Okay? The last pillar, we call it commitment. You must get people commitment. You must get people to commit to do what they want to do. They found out in clinics, if you go to the clinic and they give you a piece of paper to write down the next appointment date, 13% better show up because they wrote down their commitment date. Because they commit. Mm-hmm. The other ones we talk about it usually is authority. So how many of you here have an authority and they can articulate authority in what they do? Do you have an authority in what you do? Mm-hmm. How you present this authority? So they found out that 52%, I believe, of people losing weight, they will follow the weight loss program because it's written on a prescription of a doctor. This by the Center for Infectious Disease in the US. And also they found out that 35% better compliance with a physiotherapist protocol in the first week because she has a physiotherapy degree or license.
Yeah.
So when you look at authority, you have to establish your authority. That's why when we go to events, usually, and you can establish it in a very easy way. So what is the most common way to establish authority?
Wear a gun.
Actually, your whole issue,
Uniform.
yeah, your whole issue with police and law enforcement is the uniform and the police cars colors.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. But for us as a speaker, consultant, coaches, trainer, whatever we do, what is the most common way to establish authorities?
The way you enter the room, how you're introduced,
No?
Tell them, read a book.
write a book.
Exactly. So if you do have a book, you can have a book. If you don't have a book, call it future coming book. Design a cover, put a sign on it, and buy from Staples one of these plastic stands and say, my future coming book is here, guys. Book, I don't know why, because I don't read books, but I collect books. I don't read books in this format anymore. I read books online. On my iPad or my whatever tools. So how many of you will hold a book and read it?
I do.
Okay? So I collect books, I don't read them. I read them online. And this is a generation shift, by the way. So an ebook is not a big deal because everybody can have an ebook, but a book, in Canada, we can have an ISBN for free, and you can publish the whole book on Amazon for free if you can design the cover and if you agree on the language inside. You don't need a copyright or an editor. And you can print the first 20 copies for $67 and have a book for 20 copies only. And every time you print the book, it's about $4 to $5. Yeah, I know the press down here maybe do it for $1, but I don't have $3,000 to put upfront. If I have $3,000, I would rather use them in digital marketing or some other aspect. So if anybody doesn't have a book, you don't have an authority. Full stop. And why I say this, and I'm not here to promote Rick as a book editor, but I'm just here to say this because everybody else in your community will have a book. When you enter the room, you shouldn't have the book outside. You have to be proud of it. You have to put the books outside. You can hold the book. I remember my very first event, I didn't have the books, but we have the cover. And Amazon did not deliver them. So my partners, what they did is they went and they got me a book and they went to a local press and they cut it and they tape it because what's inside was not the book.
Yeah.
And we use it on the stage. And we sold because the book. And if you look at your comparison or your comparatives, they have books. Make sense?
Is that called a fake book?
No, it's not because it's called the forthcoming book.
Yeah.
The book will start with a cover. If you have a title and the cover, you have a book.
Yeah.
And then the balance of the book to be published is once you have people buying your program.
Yeah, they always say pre-sales are the best.
Yeah. So in my life, I wrote 27 of these, and maybe a couple of hundred of the other format I will show you. The other thing people will buy from you is for reciprocity. And the reciprocity is reciprocity. I give you,
Reciprocity.
yes. So is a is the concept is I give you good content and you'll come and give me value in exchange. That's why if you have any good content, do like me. Don't hide it. Just share it. Eventually you will sell it. The knowledge exists in my cousin Google or my cousin Yahoo or my cousin Bing. The only things, guys, people need to know how to apply the knowledge to their personal situation or their personal company. If anybody will come and say, I have a knowledge nobody else know, You can look it up. You will find it. I do have an original models because I create these models. Make sense? Make sense? Any feedback? Any questions?
What was the one on the end again?
Consistent?
Oh, right, consistent. Okay.
The other thing also is you need to understand that people have to appreciate. We call it likeness. People have to appreciate your content. That's why I always come back and ask you, do you like it? Do you agree on that? Can you rate? Can you relate? If we are in a bigger room, what I will do? Raise your hand if you can apply this in your life. That's right? So appreciation and likeness is another pillar for compliance. Okay? Social proof is another way. How we achieve social proof.
Do you get,
Good.
do you have
Age first.
other people to endorse us?
Yes, testimonial.
Yeah.
Testimonial. The other social proof, we call it consensus in the room. So how many of you didn't feel like this is really good, but when they find 2 or 3 on the other side of the room, they say, yeah, we like it. They just jump in, that's right? So this must be a checklist. You must have a checklist, and every single piece of your presentation or delivery or whatever you do, I stand sometimes with some people in a one-on-one meeting, and I bring my authority. I say, yeah, I have a PhD, I have this, I work with so many customers, I have this. Sometimes I tell you testimonials of people you know, like Shamir or maybe Dee from your holistic arts. First time ever to sell 8 people in a room after launching the business for 3 years, because she used this model, which I will explain to you, an exchange of or replacing the current presentation which she got with a good friend of mine, Karen McGraw. Because I told her, forget about everything. This is how people buy. Okay? The 7th pillar is called urgency. So if you create an urgency, people will buy from you. So when I go to your website and I see 31 days for sign up, will I sign up? A free registration, give you 31 days to sign up. Will I sign up? Price will go up in by New Year. Will I sign up?
Before New Year.
I will not.
Unless New Year's tomorrow.
I will not. That's right. If you observe this checklist on every single thing you do, it means if you have a marketing brochure, you just need to make this as a checklist. That's it. You need to pick up 4 colored pens. You look at this and you underline them. That's it. You need to look at dialogues here. How many times you say, do you see, do you hear, do you listen, do you know the steps? That's it. Any questions? Yes, sir.
So what you got there, a lot of that comes from the Cialdini's book, right? From Influence.
No.
Where does scarcity fit in there? Because those of the 7, 6 of those are, in his book. Yes, where does
Scarcity is urgency.
Okay.
I've seen 4 pillars before.
Because I prefer urgency to scarcity. I think it's a better choice of word.
I don't know. It's just I found 4 pillars before, but I just say no. This is a checklist. This is my own checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet someone one-on-one, did I show any authority? Now let's talk about uniform for a little bit. If I come here with my uniform,
That's why the Meg was-
people will box me inside a specific box. That's why I don't go with any rings anymore. I used to have a PhD ring, and I don't go with any rings anymore. I don't go with, I don't even, people ask me, so what's your name? I say, why do you need to know your name? It's my name. Why do you need to know? It's mine. And you laugh at that. In reality, what I will share with you in a few minutes, that you must not say your name at the beginning. You must say your name to people who will get value from you and are interested to know you better.
Isn't that funny? Because we always introduce ourselves first.
And this is where I bring this one, because we have to change this mentality.
Interesting.
Okay? We have to change this mentality to not to introduce ourselves first.
Wow. So hi, how you doing?
Okay?
And no cups with names on them?
If
That
you
gives
use
us-
them,
That
if
gives
you
us authority in the
if
room.
if you use them for authority, is a different story.
Right.
Like if you use the,
Oh, hi, Paulette.
if you use them for authority, is a different story.
You just made me realize why something worked in the past. I was explaining this to people who were creating a magazine for CIBM, and I was explaining to them that I have used the magazine in the past because I didn't have a book. I didn't realize it's the same thing. It opened up the page, and there I am in full color, my picture, and a write-up about me, and they would buy. The percentage of sales was much higher when I used that as a method because it gives instant authority that you know what you're talking about. A magazine wrote about you.
So
You know?
we.
So I have to text back one of your good friends,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Donna Doll, okay?
Okay.
So just
Is she coming over?
I don't know. I'm supposed to meet with her, but I hope I'm not meeting her today.
not today.
Just lost consistency.
She didn't text me at the same time, so I think we're good.
So what would I have for a book?
We can put you in the magazine and we could work on a book. Actually, I got some ideas from that.
Okay.
Carry on. I made notes.
Okay.
Okay, so in the next hour, so thank you for accommodating the time with me. This was the first hour. As you notice, I don't have any notes because Principle 101 in selling, it's a laser beam from my heart to your heart, to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. That's why in the workbook, which I will give you in a few minutes, I will tell you this setting is the worst setting ever. You never sell in a boardroom.
Okay.
Because when I have a connection with your heart, my lovely ones here are not connected. When I look here,
Uh-huh.
I ignore these people. If I have, look at it as a green laser beam, heart to heart.
Yeah.
How you can have it? The best setting, guys, is the classroom settings.
Yeah.
It's chairs in a row.
Shares in a row.
Yeah.
Because I will stand here, I will have connection to the heart. The lovely lady in the back is a disaster for me because I cannot connect with her. Because these guys are blocking. So I usually go and connect. You must go and connect with every single one. And did anybody feel ignored in the first hour?
No.
Not too much, but we've been trained to like this, so we'd be a little bit off on
So
that.
when you connect with people, you connect heart to
right.
heart. That's why I have no notes. I don't read.
So this is it. When you talk, you have to talk with the feeling that you're strong about what you're wanting to tell them. Like you're committed that this is something
Yes, and I have in my mind
that you
a
have
visual
passion.
journey
Yeah.
where every single thing. So if I go and present these 6 hours anywhere, 80 to 90% of the content will be in the exact same time. Because I can visualize it in my house. I always draw this in the consistent way. And I don't have notes. And I don't memorize anything. I'm very bad at memorizing. But I can go in a journey. So because I understand the structure, all what I'm sharing with you is the structure.
Right. So if you just remember that you don't have to write it down, but just keep in mind you want to hear, you want a visual, you want an audio, you want this. So bring it in.
Yes. And you must, I'll lose you a minute. And you must also have some headlines. So I know how the graph will look like. I know how the sequence will look like. If you let holding to the notes go away, you will be just fluent speaker. That's it. Yes, sir.
I've seen some, I thought were good speakers, they actually use a cue card because it'll trigger them to make sure you don't miss anything, especially if you've done it a lot of times, you've been practice that, you probably don't even need those, but initially you might need the cue card.
It's whatever you fit yourself, but I can tell you, I teach 34 different subjects and I don't have notes for anything. And I struggle when I have to read the workbooks because I don't like workbooks. Okay? I have workbooks for you. I will share it in a few minutes, but I don't like workbooks because it's a journey. So why or what kind of knowledge I'm saying what I'm saying? First of all,
Sorry, just before we move on. So, when we talk about trying to address all the people in the 4 quadrants and the language, the vibe, and so on, we are addressing the early stage of the audience, right? Because this is where you actually.
Yeah, you are addressing people here.
Yeah, we are at this stage.
We
right?
are at these stages.
Okay, because once you get to know your clients, then you got to customize to their profile.
Yes, and it was a debate between me and one of my customers. He's a realtor. He had a big real estate estate deal with 5 other realtors in. So he came and said, like, I lost. They have this very big names in town in the neighborhood of Northwest. So there is no way for me to win this. So I don't say, what are you doing? He said, no, I stopped there, and just out of being consistent and committed. And as my name, I promised to go for the meeting with the son and daughter. And also, why you don't just go and tell them, you know what, everything will be fine, don't care, don't worry about it, I will take care of you, nothing else. This is funny, they need percentage. These people, like from the description described to me, they are more like very emotionally driven, a very emotional trigger for the loss of their mom. So they don't need more information. Just to go there. So what happened is he came into the guys here in downtown, and he sat, and he's seen like 2 other realtors coming out, and they're like half an hour late. So after like half an hour late, he started to stand up and just wants to leave. And by the time he went to the door, the girl came in and says, okay, now we are ready for you. So he found himself like he will tell the receptionist I'm leaving, but now he has to go in. So he went in and said, you know what, guys, yeah, I've seen you have been dealing with other realtors, and I believe there is a good value in the property, and all what I can tell you, don't worry about it. I will take care of you. You don't need to worry about any details. Oh, thank you, and he left to pick up his son from the school. A day later, he got the phone call back. He was the one selected. So if you deal with any realtor or real estate agency, you understand how much information they put in front of you.
Yeah.
There are some occasion, and this realtor will learn desk and all kind of interesting stuff, which is great. So I debate how much of these you may not be able to carry it here as well, versus desk or any other models, when you know them. Because when you know them, you may give priority to like CVI, which is core value index or desk or bank code or gold or whatever Insight is doing. And I basically use this. I work with like 40 some coaches delivering this content, so I know this content inside out.
Right, so
but I stuck to my own models, my own understanding, and this is what I use all the time.
Right, so this is from general all the way to prospect.
Yes, and if you have someone you know who are they, you will not use the 3. You will not use the 3.
Right.
Like with you, I never talk about how much money. Like the return of investment become at 30%. Now we talk about the return of investment, but you don't really care. You care more about the process and the confidence in the process.
So
you personally, that's right.
If you no, that's not true. But anyway, so the model's not working all the time. But if you have a target clients, like you know very well whom you're gonna present to, it's construction engineers or.
If it's engineers, most likely it will be in this area.
Yeah, or finance people or whatever. Then you have to customize the message to address the people in this quadrant.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But if you have a CEO, you have to talk about this area. That's why bringing these people together in the room is not trivial. It's not tricky.
So will the CEO be more of a time and revenue?
Yes. If you come to a VP engineer and tell him this will help you saving in the budget, he will look at you and say, I'm giving a budget. I don't control the budget. The biggest thing here is this can be changing. So if you put your people in the room for 9 to 9 and you try to sell them at 8 o'clock at night, and this is the whole reason for you to need 3 days workshop. Why do you need 3 days workshop? Why is not 2 days? Why is not 1 day?
I don't know. Tell us.
Does anybody understand why a selling workshop must be 3 days?
No.
Because in the very first day, you have to give the small offer. In the second day, you give the large offer, and in the third day, you follow up on the offer.
You do, what's the last one, sorry?
Follow up on the offer.
Hold on.
So if you have 3 days, like maybe half a day, 1 day, like afternoon Friday or full day Friday, usually you position the small offer. It's mastermind groups or club or whatever. The largest educational offer will come on second day, and you follow up on it on the third day. That's it. If anybody's trying to convince you, you can sell your offer in 2 days workshop, they don't understand the formula. Or they don't understand the working formulas. They don't understand the high conversion formulas. That's why Get Motivation, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, any name will come here and sell. They must have 3 days. And in the 3 days, they sell one thing. You sell one thing. You have different offer for one thing. And just a piece of information as well, for this offer, you must have 3 levels. And you always sell the middle level. And I will explain it to you more if we get into the part of the offer. Make sense?
Yeah, I'm thinking of some of the things that I've been to over the years that were very compelling, and that is the formula that they followed it. I think the first huge seminar I took that was on search engine optimization, they sold an $1,800 program from the stage that was their main offer, and it was just like that.
Yeah.
It was a short thing on the one day, hit them hard with the 1,800 the second day, and then it was all about follow up and adding value to that 1,800 on the third day.
You drive more.
Everybody wanted it. Remember we fell for it. We're like, we gotta have it.
You drive more reciprocity. When Brian Lee seen this model for 6 hours, he said this is the most sophisticated model he ever seen in 37 years of selling from the stage.
Yeah, I know Brian, yeah.
Yeah. And so, many of your people in CIBN like Shamir, when they follow this away from HeartMath, they start to see higher conversion from 8% to 57 and 60%. And using this formula, I walked one time with 117% sign up. People sign up for others and put me credit cards.
Yeah.
Okay?
Shamir had a really good testimony, by the way. I talked to him about what the percentage of increase was when he started using this kind of thing. It's really good.
So, what I want to say is, you do this presentation, you do these workshops, you have your talks, your books, and all what you would like to see is people need to have results and take action. That's right. This is what we are love to. That's right. This is our program about. That's right. You have programs. That's right. For people to achieve results and take actions. Right. No matter what the program is, if somebody here have been doing this business for 20 years, they may have more than one program. But anyone starting, I recommend to have only one line. Okay. The problem is, whatever happening on the stage does not work in this way. People will listen through their I forgot the word. So people will have their own attention, their own biased attention, and they will focus on what you do to fulfill their attention. So if they are looking to you as a salesman, they want to focus on all of your message. Where he's selling me, I'm not sold. I will not be sold. I wanna. So the biased attention is very dangerous. No matter what words you say, whatever I wanna hear is whatever I wanna hear. Following that, people will have their own biased interpretation. Oh, I'm the master of natural language processing. Neuro-linguistic programming. I'm the master of it. All of this model is crap. This is their biased interpretation. Then, the model which I added, we call it uncontrolled surrounding, which is self-talk, discussions with other peer, which is peer talks, or the internet. So if you say something, the way you look, I love your tie, by the way. The way you look, I have a biased attention for him. He's so quiet. So guess what? The minute he will open his mouth, he will say something very important. He may stand and say, okay guys, where is the washroom? Doesn't matter. But because I'm already now have a biased interpretation about him. Now, if I have the time and I go look you up on the internet, or I will talk, and Carrie here said, yeah, she talked to Shamir as well. So Carrie did the peer talk. They talk among themselves. So this is what driving people to have a biased memory. And the biased memory will drive to here. Nothing in this receiving cycles, and I will put also a much better graph on a PowerPoint slide. Nothing in these cycles has to connect people to resultant actions. Okay? So someone stand out and wrote you an email. And what's the email used? It's basically his biased memory. That's why when you see me so many times just joking around, people say, oh, it's my name, it's not your name. Why do you need to know it? I just make an impression. In 2 days,
That does make an impression.
in 2 days, what will happen? People will not remember me, people will not remember any of my words. Except one time I met the professor, she said, in 2001, when you were standing on the stage, you said this story, so what happened next? I told her I met her like 2 months ago. I said, I don't know, who are you? Like, it was 2018, we were in a party in 2018. I said, no, I remember, you are so and so. Saturday, I was in an event, in a multi-faith event, and somebody came to me and said, yeah, you have been presenting in our company in 2004. Yeah, that's awesome, who are you? People remember, but they don't remember the details. All what people remember is what?
They're biased.
They're biased. So if I want to break
That's what I
these
said.
tools, offline and online and in presentation, we have techniques. One, the easy technique on the bias is usually you will get a follow-up email. If you have the bias interpretation, I will ask you to repeat. If I have a workshop of 3 days, I will ask you to go to follow on different slides and talk among yourself about the learning. Because I want to break these things. So everything you see in Big Potential or any place is done for a model. And I'm the only one in North America right now talking about this model. Because this became now a very proprietary for every single organization. But are the models. We don't do anything because I want to like it. Because I feel like it. Because people will feel good about it. No, nobody will feel good. Okay? Then what will happen quickly, they call it T model and I don't like it. Then what will happen is people will have their thoughts and feelings, and from their thoughts and feelings they will have emotion and behavior, and then they will drive to results and actions, and they keep cycling. And I disagree with the T model because your behavior comes from your own culture. Hugs are good or bad. Kisses are good or bad. Rapping on the shoulders are good or bad. In cultures overseas, rapping on the shoulder is very good. In North America, you are getting into my own space. That's right. In some cultures, hugging between man and opposite sex is okay, but hugging among the same sex is not okay. In some cultures, kiss on the cheeks is different. So, laughing loud or just smile, which one is an expression of joy? It comes from your behavior. So, this is what will be going across your people from the stage down. That's why when you stand and present, you must remember the 7 checkpoint or the 7 checklist, and now you'll understand why do you need to have likeness? Why do you need people to repeat? Can you repeat? Do you like it? Okay? Why do you need to remember? You have to remember to remind them with what you do. Like remember, like when I was talking here, for example, I started to talk about the NLP, and then I came back and reviewed this part. I started to talk about this, and I came back and I reviewed this part. Why? Because I want to make sure what you remember. This is the most discussable part of anything I present, because people just push hard against me on this. Say, we love this, we love. I said, no. This is what you.
It's the foundation.
Yeah, this model is the foundation, and this model here is what's going on across of the room in their brain. So one of the things I can share with you is, I was telling Real last other day, I went in and I attended a DeMartini method for 6 hours. Oh my God.
A what?
A DeMartini transformational method for 6 hours. So 9 to 9, around noon, they start the method to 6 hours. And the guys never understand, like I didn't understand why I will sit for 6 hours. It's torture for me. Adult learning, by the way, 2 hours maximum. Like we will break
Yeah.
in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then after lunch, which will be half an hour, because I want to give you more content, or 1 hour up to what you like to do, we have to break like 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour and a half. If I get you here, I can, and I did it one time to prove to John McDonald I can do it. I had a workshop 3 days, and the first day I went for 4 hours in a row. Nobody remembered to go to the water. This is how much I can engage people. So when you do this personal development work, you have to understand that this is what's going on through these people's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you can influence their biased attention by asking them to open up, asking them to get consensus. Explain, like when I did here, I start to get your opinion where I'm talking about. If I don't start with this, all of you will be overwhelmed and tell me every single objection to every single step I would say. Because all of you have been in workshops before.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So this is the sequence which can describe why you got this email. So if you are doing this sales, you should understand you can influence a biased memory by an interaction, by a survey, by a follow-up email. You can influence a biased interpretation by a testimonial, by a case study on an email setting. You need to have a decent website. People who stand and say, oh, you don't need to have a website for a business. You can use Facebook business page. You can't. People need to look you up. If you look me up, you will find me on the first 10 pages of Google. Maybe the 10 links in the first 6, and then 8 out of the 10 links in the next ones. That's it. Do I have a bad stuff? I have bad stuff. Do I have good stuff? Yes. Do I have mild stuff? Yes. But when I be in this situation, I will be able to control. When you do biased memory, you can always remind them. When you tell them, what do you think about it? The feeler, you have to tell them, what do you feel about it? So these are the flow of information in people's mind. Any questions?
Do you have some of this in one of your books? Very good. Carry on.
So did you see this before?
No,
No,
not like that.
Not
No.
quite like that. I've seen parts of
I
this.
think something.
Yeah, I've,
What does PWT stand for again?
Your presentation, your word, your action, your whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
presentation.
Okay? So when you do a presentation, you have to remember this biased. So you have always to get people in the first funnel. Okay?
The only thing I've seen similar to this, although he focuses primarily on CEOs and he does fundraising for banks, things like that. His name's Ron Claff. He studied a lot of this psychology, but I think he would miss some of the things in certain audiences, but he has a very tight focus on who he's targeting. He probably falls into that CEO category that he's talking to. He always talks about.
And on speaking to the CEO category, if you are selling to the CEO, here's the CEO. The problem is you have to go through the gatekeeper. Who is the gatekeeper for the CEO?
The gargoyle.
The secretary. What's the trait or what's the characteristic of the secretary?
R.
RP.
Yeah.
She understands the process. She understands how to send the fax, how to make a copy machine. That's right. How to make a zero. She understands the process. That's
Yeah.
right. And she was always a relationship. If you go to a room and you see somebody has all of their family surrounding them, they are just dominant here.
Yeah.
When you look at somebody like you, when they come over and they always have this, like, we call them blue collars, you are just process oriented. That's it. When I look at somebody, when I see somebody has, I cannot talk too much because it's not vulnerable. I'm not judging. What I'm doing is, can you look at someone and start from where she starts? So if someone have the nice look, have this fancy, have these things, she will start here. People will start here. They need to know what credibility do you have. So you stand and say, CIBN helped 200 business to go to triple their income in the last 20 years or the last 2 years, whatever it is. You now have credibility. Now we can talk. The reason for them to sell Gucci and Burberry at 2,000 times the normal price of Walmart
Yeah.
is the credibility of the name. That's it. The minute you start to be more credible in front of them, oh, here is my book, here is my giveaways, here is who we are. You go, these people will buy. And unfortunately, these the people are controlling the money. Okay. Anyway. Any
Yeah.
questions? Okay, so what we are doing in this workshop is I will be sharing with you a sequence. So now we'll start the workshop. This was all a preamble information for you to understand what are we getting through. So during my journey in 2003, I met an individual. I did a favor for him in Toronto, and he ended up being one of the top coaches for people to sell through the platform. And he taught me a few things which I didn't value because I used to be a professor at University of Calgary and University of Alberta, so I didn't really care. But when I came back in 2011, 2012, and I decided just I don't want to have passion for technology, I want to empower people, I went back to this knowledge and I found out, yeah, this is why I was very successful. So what I'm sharing, what I will share with you, it's a format of a presentation where I will relate back to all of the science I shared with you. If you don't like it, all the means, if you want to give me your feedback, I highly appreciate this exchange because I give you my knowledge. But this is the sequence which is Diana from Your Holistic Earth was able to sell for the first time eight subscription before she left the room in Vancouver. She was selling for 3 months, for 3 years, I believe, at the time, and nobody will buy. People usually need so many follow-up. When I told her, okay, forget about everything you've been told, do it in this way. Here is a sequence. In 2 hours coaching, she was able to sell. This is the same sequence where I sat with Shamir at no agreement, no money exchange, no content. Forget about everything I've been told. Let's just do this and give me a chance. He went out. He came back. He said, yeah, you know what? I would like to join your program after 2 or 3 months. So nobody, I shared with them this system, and they have stages to speak to. They will not be able to come and say, I have a higher conversion. So please leave everything you have known a little bit outside the room. Bring it after the lunch so we can have discussion. But very important discussion. So I have pens and books. Okay, so here's 3.
We'll shuffle after the break. Okay.
I don't think you need her.
So in this workbook, you can go to page 1 and write your name, your email. if you guys have any. And you will go away with the book. I'm not getting it. Okay, just to make sure if we swap these books or so. And we'll have a break at exactly at noon. So 29 minutes. So who's here believes there is money in presentations? Okay, so you fill the first line. There is no money in presentation.
Awesome.
Okay.
That explains a lot.
So there is no money whatsoever in presentations. So where is the money?
It's in the sale.
So the second line, all the money is in the sales led by the presentation. Do you agree? In
Yeah.
the sales led by the presentation. Okay? So when I present on the stage is to do what?
It's the sale.
Is to recruit people to join my program. I will not use the word sales because not everybody around here would like to be told that you are doing sales. Some of us will not like sales because long time ago my mom will say, don't open the door when somebody will come knock, 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 knock.
Yeah.
Don't open the door, there's a salesman outside. So we have been grown up
Yeah.
on a fear of sales.
Yeah.
However,
It's to
each one of you is in a relationship. That's right?
Yeah.
So who is the best two people in the room here we know they are good salespeople? These two. Because they're still together, right?
Still together.
So every day, each one of them is selling the relationship to the other guy, and the other guy is buying it, right? So if you are in a relationship, if you are sitting here and the one beside you to the left or right are not fear that you will not be accepting you around the table or in the room, you are a good salesman or saleswoman, okay? So, but we don't use the word sales. So usually, we would recommend to use like, I would like you to invite, to join, to welcome you in my program, because not everybody will like the word sales, okay? So, presentation on the stage is exclusively to sell or to join. So what the audience need to learn from the presentation? They need to learn how to join your program.
I'm sorry, presenting on the stage is
Exclusively to sell or to invite to join. And audience can learn how to join my program from my presentation. Okay? And I will leave the last one for you to fill it later on. The question is, do you agree on these rules or not? If you agree on these rules, just say I agree. On page 3, we would love to know you more, and you have to understand we are crushing this in time. So let's get to know you. So when you say I am, who are you? What you say? Like what you do? What make you wow? I am what? Can you write who are you on page 3?
oh,
I am what?
oh, I am. Oh, I see. Like, let's get to know. I am.
Remember, when you write I am, you have to be one person to one customer all the time. And we call this, I call it the ignorant model. Have you ever sell ignorant before?
Oh, ignorance. Oh my God. Yeah.
All of you are ignorant to me. Because none of you know what's my value. Even the host who invited me and invited you, and I appreciate after she did all of the due diligence around me and she learned about me a lot, Carrie allowed me to come here, so I highly appreciate that, and you have to appreciate that from her. However, she doesn't know what I'm doing because it's the first time for her to attend this presentation. So everybody around here is ignorant, and ignorant start with I. And do you remember these numbers?
Yes.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So ignorant need to know how many things about me.
Pretty much everything.
No, one thing.
One
One
thing.
thing.
You have to appeal to your customers and your clients and your audience as one and only one. You are either a good mom or a good dad, or you are a manager in a business. You don't appear twice. How many of you find it appropriate to take their kids to their work during the work hours? Not for visitation, not for fun, okay? So you have to understand that if you write here, I am, this is the business you are. You cannot say, I'm a bookkeeper, I'm an event manager, and business accountant, and washing dishes, and playing music. It cannot be like that. It must be one thing, and one thing only. If you are a personal coach, you are a personal coach. If you are a business coach, you are a business coach. If you are a business consultant, you are a business consultant. You are not more than one, because the ignorance will not understand how many. And the same, ignorant will need to buy one offer. Okay? And when we come back to this model here, that's why I say if you have this model, it needs to be one. You can have multi-offers. But if you have multi-offers, you can be a higher abstract level. So if I have a multi-offer, like I'm a business consultant and I license software, and I also do one-on-one consultations, and I have my training program online, I will be a consultation house. I will sell this, and then I can sell this, I can sell this. It doesn't matter. If you are, commonly I see people doing bookkeeping, accounting. That's right. And then they can do operation management. And they are not certified accountant, and they are not certified bookkeeper, but they run the business. So they need to come and say that they are controller or addition to the business operations. They cannot be bookkeeping and accounting, because I don't know which one you will get. You have to understand that whatever offer you have, it must look like Centric Island. You cannot have an offer like this, because this offer will need bridges. Bridges means what? Longer presentation.
Yeah.
And the confusing presentation. So if anyone has more than one offer, is great. Can we make them centric? If you cannot make them concentric like this, you have to understand the difficulties here. For people who are starting, we recommend to have concentric offers like this. So if you have bookkeeping plus accounting, bookkeeping plus accounting plus control. It cannot be bookkeeping level 1, 2, 3, accounting level 1 and 3. It will be too confusing. And if somebody come ask for accounting, what will say? Yes, we do it. And you offer them a different package. But when you appeal to people, you need to appeal to people in this way. Any questions? Make sense? Now, the number 2 is my presentation is for what? What do you want your presentation to do?
I want my presentation to bring a sense of wanting to know more and an excitement that there's a possibility this is going to give them something that they're looking for, whether it's business revenue, and that would create revenue in the end.
So what is the problems here you can solve?
More clients, more customers.
Yeah.
So just write it down. More clients, more
Okay.
customers. Okay?
And that equals more revenue, more money.
Write wherever you
Yeah.
like to write. We are doing diagnosing now, so it's just nothing will stick. And what's your goal?
You want a monetary value, or you want a?
Whatever you want to characterize it.
My goal.
Remember, 4 of them I'm not ignoring you. It's just 4. Whenever you talk, you always talk about this.
No kidding, eh? Can you tell where I am on that slide?
That's right.
Yes.
So you are somebody who need to know credibility
Right.
to buy.
She is the
That's it.
CEO.
And it will make sense for you to run the whole organization.
It also makes sense that Janice is the RP on this question.
You need the 4 tribe
Yeah.
to run successful organization.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk to Carrie now, you understand that. So you need to give her value. And also she doesn't care about time too much,
No.
because majority of her meetings will go after
Yeah.
time.
No chit
So
chat.
Carrie one of the few people in this area.
Yeah,
So if you come to tell her the process, she will get overwhelmed.
yeah, she's no chit chat, just go get money, go get it.
It's all about the money.
Janice in the process.
Okay?
That's interesting.
Now, then number 3, what's your goal? Number 4, what makes your presentation great? So what makes your presentation great? What is the wow factor to bring your presentation? And number 5, what is your current speaking level? So how often do you stand and talk? How often do you do webinars? How often do you do seminars? How often do you record videos? And I will share with you a formula after lunch. If you do like videos, what are the 5 elements you need to bring in any videos? Like you do 10 minutes, 20 minutes videos, what kind of messaging you can, or what kind of questions you can answer?
I'm not sure about my current speaking level.
You speak once a month, once a year, you don't speak at all?
You're in front of customers, does that count?
Yeah.
Or do you mean in front of the stage?
Are you talking to me?
Well, would that be in front of customers or on the main stage?
More- 2 or
in front
more.
of a boardroom, 2 or more people.
2 or more people,
Oh, I see, okay.
okay?
We can put you up on stage more often, no problem.
Then
Yeah.
the number 5 is who are your audience? Number 5 is who are your audience? And who are your audience is very important, because you understand from here. That's why if you notice, this is always one sheet, because whenever I bring it to the front, it's much easier, because now I have everything I need here. So who are your audience? So if your audience are business owners who are not successful business owners usually are here because they are mid-level management. That's right, Trey? Because that's why they are failing, because they don't value this. Okay? So you have to talk this language and to teach them how to do this. How many of us went, do you imagine how many of us went to people and say, we can help you making more money? They say, oh, we are not for business to make money. We are business to influence people to have a better life. Yeah, good.
How's that working?
How many did you have like this? Too many, that's right. Majority of people in alternative medicine or holistic area, they are here.
But they're broke.
Yes, but I was able to make many of them rock stars. because I can fill this part.
Right. But until they did that, they were broke.
Yes. So do you agree on this model? It makes sense?
Yes, me. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. So I want to skip from 6 to 6.6 because real and people who have real presentations, they can fill it. But I want to go to page number 6. And this is where we'll spend majority of the day today. So the first question will ask you about the following. Your style is which one of the 3 styles? And I will talk about these styles in a minute, and then I will talk about it all the way at the end again. The first slide is selling from the stage. What do you mean selling from the stage? It means I will stand in front of the people, and before I will go home, I will have I don't have the signing sheet, but I will have a signing sheet with their credit card number on it. And by the end of the day, people will give me and sign up to my program. Full stop. Okay? Nothing else. So selling through from the stage, this is what this means. So if you want people to subscribe to the program before they go home, this is what this means, selling from the stage. It has a minor difference in how we will lay down the presentation. The second one, we call it speak to sell. Speak to sell means what? Means I will give a keynote. I'm not allowed to give a sales presentation. And I will collect people information. Then I will have a sales process following that. So if I'm a keynote speaker in a conference or an event and I'm not allowed to sell, or they pay you to speak, you can collect enough information. Which is, I can tell you when I come to this part of my presentation, I feel so awkward because I use the same technology against people as well, okay? So,
Yeah.
anyway, just this is why, like, I don't know, this is why I enjoy this content in particular, and I feeling it's challenging because I can share with you, I'm not saying how to invite you to my journey, and you will fall to my journey.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. And the last one, we call it enroll, or enrollment. Enrollment means what?
Join.
Sorry?
Join.
But what's different between join and the selling from presentation? Enrollment means I will have a strategy session or an enrollment, another point for them to sign. So speak to enroll or enroll from the stage. I don't want them to put their credit card and to sign up for the program. I will have another conversation. So Do It Marketing, you know the fellow from Do It Marketing. What they do is they run webinars. And at the end of the webinar, you will hop on a phone call with one of their consultants or with one of their people. So this is a different style of presentations. Remember, our audience are what? Are ignorant. Ignorant needs what?
One thing.
So they need one style.
So you need to pick one.
You need to pick one, you need to focus on one, and when you master the whole thing, what we'll do? We can understand now what we can remove and what we can put back.
Right.
Okay? Make sense? So this is our three distinction between three different presentations. I cannot stand in front of presentation and say, oh, you know what, guys? Give me your email and phone numbers. And by the way, by the end of before you go, you can sign up this. You have this offer. Oh, and whoever will not sign, you can actually connect with the back. They can give you a one-on-one consultation for free. You cannot. You have to pick one. And your offer, which we'll talk about it later on, has to match one. No matter which one you will pick, I will show you a 90% common sequence, which will go to all of them. And at the end, we will talk about what are the differences.
It's just the ending that's different.
Sorry?
It's just the ending that's
Not the
different.
endings. There's also some spots in the middle. The other part is, will this sequence of 15 steps will be relevant to webinars? It will be relevant to seminars. It's relevant to any piece of information between 20 to 90 minutes. And I will share with you how you can present 20 minutes and how you can extend it 90 minutes, and you'll be very authentic. Nobody will feel anything. That's why I hate PowerPoint slides. PowerPoint slides we only use and recommend it to use to show the offer. So if you want to have an offer, you should have PowerPoint slides, in particularly for people who are starting right now.
Would that be true of webinars as well? You won't use slides?
The webinars, you will use slides all the time. But you will not talk to the slide too much. You can have images or photos, but you don't need slides, because slides will, when I share with you the difference between 20 to 90, you will understand what slides will do to you. Now, this is supposed to be your signature presentation. So if you plan to use this sequence, which I will explain it in 2 minutes, you should be able to use this sequence and only this sequence for 6 months to a year. And after 6 times, we can evaluate how we can increase the performance. So when I go and present, I only have 1 presentation. I don't have 2, I don't have 3. When I have students in front of me, it will be tailored towards them. When I have CEOs, it will be tailored towards them. When I have holistic, it will be tailored towards them. I will show you where is the tailoring part, but I have only 1 presentation with 1 title. The top 5 challenges. That's it. Okay? If you don't agree on that, okay, if you want to play with us, okay, it doesn't matter, like, but I deserve to get the feedback from you because you didn't charge anybody, right?
No, okay.
So I deserve to get an honest feedback from you guys, okay?
That's fair.
So when usually we start the presentations, there are 4 things which we must not do. We must not thank the host. We must not apologize, and we say we are sorry. We must not affirm the obvious, like it's shiny outside, so sunny, so warm, and we're sitting here in this room looking at the sun from the no, okay. Oh, the smells are good, and I'm holding between you and the coffee. All what I tell you is at noon I will stop. I have a hard stop at noon because I'm consistent. That's right. So my mentors explained it to me as follows. Imagine you are sitting in front of me here, and we are not in this presentation. We are in the presentation to sell, not this kind of fulfillment. This workshop is fulfillment workshop. I'm sharing with you a few techniques I use, but you will not be sold anything, because this is not the standard 20-minute to 90-minute presentation. This is more than that. So imagine the audience sitting in front of you. The host will introduce you. The host will tell your bio. Your bio can come on a video or whatever it is, and then you will stand. You look at the audience, you make the eye contact, you anchor yourself, you make the eye contact. You have to visualize the following. The audience will open their skull, expose their brain to your wisdom. So your wisdom is not, I am sorry the room is too crowded. The wisdom is not, thank you Carrie for hosting me. The wisdom is not any of this stuff. Okay, agree? People are opening their skull, exposing their brain to your knowledge. You have 3 to 10 seconds to engage them or to hook them. So the question will be, when we start, we usually start with a hook. And I call this stage 1. I will share with you 5 stages for your presentation to go through. So in stage 1, I will expand on every step. So step number 1, which is you have it here, 7.2, but the very first thing will be a hook. What is the hook of your, what type of hook can you say in your own? And please try to customize this. I will give you a link. If you sign up to it, you will have a sample presentation where you go and fill it. People who start, you can use PowerPoint, but yeah, it takes some time. Yes, sir.
You said there were 4 do nots. What was the 4th one? You said do not acknowledge, do not apologize, do not confirm the obvious.
I will remember it. I will remember.
Oh, you don't. Oh, okay. So it's there somewhere. You just can't find
Yeah.
it.
We'll come back to that.
I remember, sir.
No, she's not apologizing for that either.
So you're wanting a hook.
Yeah. So what could be a good hook?
So you want to make money, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You want increase revenue in 3 months.
Is it to engage them, this hook?
Yes, the hook
Okay.
is to engage them.
So you want a question or something that's going to meet
Okay.
those things?
So one of the hooks could be, I'm not saying this is the best hook. One of the hooks could be a question. Who here like to ask their audience questions?
I have
Okay,
used that.
rule number 1, if their audience are heart dominant, if you're, have you heard about somebody called highly sensitive people in business?
Well, we've met occasionally.
Actually, this is a majority of the farmers outside Calgary from Okotoks who have tons of money.
Yeah.
They are highly sensitive people. So people in relationship, they don't like questions. Who are the one quadrant who
highest-
loves question?
Pete.
Those guys.
Those guys like questions.
Oh, okay.
So highly sensitive people and the relationship people,
Yeah.
why do you ask questions? I had an example where Mike April was standing and he's a accountant bookkeeping. He will asking question, and Mihaela, I said, after his sixth question, number 6, I told her, Mihaela, when did you shut down? People look at me and said, yeah, I'm not psychic, guys, but the science will not lie. It may not be applicable to you because you are not that 80%, but it will not lie. So if you have in front of you relationship people, this naturopaths,
Yeah.
This weight loss coaches, these are just people.
Yeah.
And what you want to do? Ask them a question. Why? Do you get it?
Right. So.
So if you, this is the only people who will hook with questions.
But how do you know that?
Oh.
Because if
So
you
how
do,
do you know that when you see your audience for the first time?
So people wanting more information. Sorry.
this is a notice of relationship. These are relationship people.
No, I get that. But so
You know the demographic. When you walk to the room,
Mhm.
there are lots we can talk about how when we walk to the room, how we can look at the demographic. You can simply ask a question. Who is here in holistic area? Who is here doing that?
But that's the question, right?
But this is you get to know. But this is to get your audience if you don't know.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
Okay? Now, one of the things...
But if you were going in to talk to a corporation and you know it's mainly engineers in front of you, then you would know that your TP would be where you're addressing.
So, questions, it's a way to open, to have a hook. What else could be a better hook? The easiest hook, because of the sake of the time,
A story?
a statistic.
A statistic.
Oh.
A stat of 80% or 90% or more.
Oh, like. We
Don't
all-
say
Okay, fine.
Don't say 95% of business will fail in 4 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Don't say that one?
You knew what I was
And you know
gonna
what?
say. What?
Einstein never said, what's call it? Doing the same thing
Right.
over and over and over.
And expecting the same, a different result.
Einstein never said so.
Never said that.
He never said that. There is a proof, scientific proof, he never said that. So when you go and look at these people and talk about tenacity or whatever they talk about it, and Einstein said, I stand up and leave. Yeah. Einstein never did said so, guys. Einstein never said so.
So a statistic of 80
A
or
statistics
90%
of
or more.
90% or more.
Okay.
It has to be something to position you as the expert. So please, we will break in 25 seconds. Please, in the lunch break, which will be half an hour, we'll come back at 12:30 because I want to just give you as more as I can actually speak while you talk, while you eat, guys. Is okay? Or whenever you invite me to come, I can come and continue. Get your brain and see, okay, what kind of a hook I can share. You can also have a hook of a video if you can afford it.
What about a story?
A story is another level of advanced hooks. Statistics for people who are starting. Just to go with statistics, very simple. 28% of businesses in Calgary are business space in Calgary is available, and there is no the currency is down right now. We cannot find economy. Well, you have lots of statistics you can drive, which people will feel you are the expert. Remember, there are stages from 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are some other information we have to say after the hook, but I will not get to it right now.
Yeah.
I will only go in sequence and say this is the column. You can go practice it today. If you want to make it more aggressive, I will share with you what you need to do. You need to plan your presentation first week Second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week. After week number 6, you are ready to go and sell and practice for 6 weeks the conversion rate. So agree on this structure? So today I will give you the essence, and then after we finish this, you have a complete set of presentations. Then I will tell you today also what else you can add here and what else you can add on every single cycle. So these stages or cycles. Okay, so let's break and come back at 12:30 or whenever you would like me to.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.